That was about as bad as the day could have gone. Nvidia numbers were okay. Seemed like it was enough for a rally. They tried overnight and early morning, but then quickly the market turned bearish and we got slammed all the way into the close. The yellow lights on stocks, keep it there for a day. The chart's pretty tough. It looks like there could be some support in the NASDAQ and the S&P around where we're at, but the way we just went careening off the cliff after Nvidia is bad. So this is a yellow light with a lot of caveats. But the reason I'm not going to change anything just yet is because the framework that I've been building here over the last week, I think is working pretty well. Last week, early on in midweek, I talked about regime change that seemed it was afoot. Wasn't sure how it was going to play out. Now we're starting to get some pretty clear answers. But the baseline of that was the strength in bonds. We've seen treasuries start to shift a direction here, which is important. The yellow light for the dollar, I think, is pretty helpful as well because we're seeing the dollar still catch some bids, even with the tariff stuff and all the complications around that. The red on crypto has been crucial as well because, as I pointed out ad nauseum, that MicroStrategy is going to lead Bitcoin prices lower, as that is now the most levered risk-on play in the market. It does have great utility in signaling where risk appetite is going. So that's why I led with the red light on cryptos, because they looked very weak, and they are. Now, as far as stocks go, we'll get back to Bitcoin in a sec. Here's the chart for the NASDAQ. This is a lower low. It is, technically, so maybe the light should be red. But you could also argue that there's been a lot of volume traded around here as well. You can also see basically this is the November election gap. That's probably going to be a pretty tough one to close. Something really nasty is going to have to happen. And maybe it'll be a warm inflation print tomorrow. If it comes in bad, then the market looks like the bottom's like about to fall out. The S&P 500 gives you something similar because you can essentially draw a straight diagonal line across the lows, kind of something like that. And so that gives you still arguably an uptrend. However, it's really like any additional selling from here. I think you have to have the red light on, reflecting potential downtrend development, potential correction, bear market style stuff, because Nvidia's action was so bad today and the semiconductors were so bad. To see that floor open up, that trap door for Nvidia, was really, really gross. That means you've lost leadership in the mags, which are also breaking down now. The mags chart, if I had a light for that on its own, would be red, because of the amount of pressure that the 7 have come under, specifically Tesla, now Nvidia. It was one thing to have Tesla selling off because that had some crazy Elon presidential premium built into it. Nvidia dropping off too now makes that a very tough basket of stocks. It looks like Apple's kind of been trading as like a safety trade as well, but nothing there looks particularly compelling. So then that brings us to crypto. This is where Bitcoin has its great utility. I've always said Bitcoin has utility. This is it, to tell you which way the wind is blowing. For BTC, anything's possible because of MicroStrategy, which I've described as a ticking time bomb based on all the leverage they've built in. They do not have a lot of breathing room down below 67,000 in BTC. The gap to watch is the election gap, basically. That one seems like it would be a pretty easy one to clear out of the way for the coins. But stocks, I'll give it one more day and see how we respond to inflation. Good luck.